Crushing the meta!
Hello everyone, we are Team Crushing the Meta, and today, well, I'm your host Glacian, and this is...
Well, I think that most of you guys already know me from the videos or just from Facebook as a trader. I go by the name of Finally D.B0Y. You also know me as D.B0Y from Team Crushing the Meta.
As most of you might know, D.B0Y is our founder and kind of the owner of the channel, and today we're doing a character profile which is long overdue. So, D.B0Y, I have a few questions for you, then we're going to take a look at your deck and the profile, and well, we'll see how that goes. First of all, a lot of people are curious to know, how did you actually start playing this game?
Well, before we do this, first I would like to say thank you to Marty Meurs, a very good friend of mine, goes by the name of Sensky, because actually I didn't want to start this game at all. I was kind of 5 years ago when we started, I was thinking, well, I don't want to play any card games anymore because I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time and I didn't like the community anymore. It was always pay to win, and I was the kind of guy who made kind of anti-meta decks, very cheap decks, and still got to the tops in multiple YCSs and won a lot of tournaments. But at the same time, Marta was telling me, well, okay, don't just quit yet. There is this card game, just came to the Netherlands, and it's really nice, and the art is perfect. And he showed me a Blaster Blade deck, the trial deck from Blaster Blade. And I was looking at Blaster Blade, it's like, I have nothing against gay people, but he was standing like this with his sword, and I told him, no. Nope. Not for me. And it was, oh, wait. There is also this Dragonic Overlord trial deck, and I was, oh, okay, alright. I will give it a try. And we bought the two trial decks, and we were just playing and having a lot of fun, and we had a stand trigger, we stand the Vanguard, and our rear guards were doing drive checks, and it was one big chaos, but we enjoyed the game a lot. And that's when Sensky told me, well, there is also an anime. I was like, oh, really? So yeah, you could watch it. And the first scene I saw at the anime was a Juggernaut Maximum charging into an Harlem, and I was like, damn, Bushido, is that for real? Is that a rugby player in a card game? And so I looked the clan of Spike Brothers up, and I was just, okay, I will play this game. This is my clan. Cannot be another clan. And from that moment on, I played the game. And at the start, I couldn't make a Spike Brother deck, so I had to mix Spike Brothers with Kagero. It was alright because some cards were really hard to find, like these Skydivers were really hard to find. The Perfect Guard from Spikes was also very hard to get. So I mixed the two clans up because that was alright at the start. And from 2017 onwards, that's when we actually got to play in regionals and nationals. Before that, we actually just played at home, had a lot of fun, and the community in the Netherlands was also small because the second generation of Crushing the Meta, like Glacian, JD, Geartown, all the others, actually came in 2017 onwards, and not before that. So yeah, we created a very nice community in the Netherlands, and also a big thank to Ramon, which had a big influence on the game in the Netherlands, so it's really nice to have him. And it's really nice to have such a good community, actually, in general, as in the whole world. I think last year went to France, which also has a big community. It's always nice to see people enjoying the game and having a lot of fun. And from Germany, from Belgium, from all around the world, actually. So not only thanks to Bushiroad for creating this game, but also for the players that play the game. Because without the players, Bushiroad could do nothing.
That's true. Well, you just mentioned the second generation of Crushing the Meta. How about you tell us a little bit about the first generation and how this channel and the concept behind it came to be?
Well, if I'm talking about people that I want to thank, there is also somebody, actually two people who helped me out a lot with starting the channel, because I'm not the only one who created Crushing the Meta. There's always Blazing Paladin, Chris Flores, who helped us a lot. He was also the founder of, with me, of Crushing the Meta, but he stopped playing the game about, I think, some months ago, and now he's picking the game up again. He just didn't have a lot of fun anymore playing the game, so he didn't want to play the game anymore. And there are more people like Leslie who help us a lot creating the intro and creating different things, but mostly me and Chris, who actually created the channel. And then JD and Glacian came along with the sparkles, and also some of the old peoples came back, like Menno and Jeroen just came back to playing the game, because also Jeroen did stop for a while. But yeah, here we are, and we have now a lot of viewers, which is very nice. So thank you guys for helping us out. But the reason why we started the channel, I mentioned this multiple times, actually because like when you have a child for the first time and you just want to put everything on camera so you could watch that back later on and enjoy. That's actually the reason. We created a lot of our videos just, you can see us having fun and just going crazy, even in the deck profiles. And people would say, well, it does sound less professional, but it is really a lot of fun to watch. And that's actually what we want to create, because we could edit and do everything, but it would not be fun anymore.
That's right. Our charm lays in our wondrous personalities and our chaotic games. That is definitely true. Well, we're of course here for your character profile, which includes a showing of your favorite deck.
Yep.
So I'm going to turn the camera down in a moment, and we're going to look at Spike Brothers.
Yep. As I said, Spike Brothers were already not the one and only clan that I play. I play also Dark Directors and Nubitam and more clans. I have a lot of decks, but it is really the only clan that I enjoy as much as I want to play it every time if it's up to me. But the thing is, the build that you will see later on is the build that I play right now. It doesn't mean this is the best build for me or for everybody, but I do change a lot of cards. Like I could wake up tomorrow and I would just make a whole different deck. And I also have 3 Rising Nova decks at the moment in sleeve, so I could show you any one of them, but this is the deck that I enjoy the most at the moment, and I really want to show it to you guys.
As from experience, I can tell you, from playing against him every week, it can change every time you see it, but it'll always work somehow. We're gonna look at the newest version.
So we did it like this, that you could actually see the whole deck, and after that we will go through the strides and go through every one card, because every card in this deck, even the draw triggers, like I had the 2 different ones, have a reason why they are here. And that's the thing about clans like Spikes, like clans like Murakumo, that's really need all the right pieces at the right time to be able to play. So as you can see from here, I play the 10 grade 3 version. I started up with 8 and then 9, and I included the Jelly Beans, of course, to be able to turbo to the GB8 and to be able to search my favorite card in Spike Brothers, which is actually the Deadly Mason. Some people would play the 10k, some people would play Mason. I think most would play the 10k. From here on, we see the Axe Diver and the Lethal Forward. Of course, 2 of my favorite cards. I got to play them. I just can't take them out. One thing which is very important about the Lethal Forward, he's always good if you play the Rising Nova as your main Vanguard. And the same with Miracle Ace. If you don't play Rising Nova, or if you play only Star Jelly Beans, which I play in my Turbo deck, I would not play the Lethal Forward. Something also very important that you don't see right here is actually the parkour. I took the parkour out yesterday because I was talking with Glacian and I said the only deck that you play against that you really want parkour is actually Chaos Breaker. And I think in teams, there's a team of 3 players where only 1 Link Joker player could be in there, and that Link Joker had to face me. And that possibility is just too little for me to take one of these out to put the parkour in here. So that's why I took him out. But in the normal deck, when I could play against everybody and not in a team league, I would definitely put the parkour in. And I play 1 parkour and 2 Axe Divers to be able to bind and call the parkour back. 2 Mayhem Tigers, well, I would love to play more, but I don't want to take these 2 out. And Laser is just too good in this deck, especially when you want to play Dust or you want to finish off with Dirty Piccolo or on the first stride. Because the thing about this deck is, it could finish off any moment of the game. So, and that's why when I play against Glacian or my friends, I say, do you want one more stride turn or do you just want to die? And Sparkles always say, well, you could not finish me off, and he's just dead. 6 damage heal, doesn't matter.
Sad part is it's all true.
Yep. 2 tiers in here, I would say for Dust, but also for Dirty Piccolo, to be able to do your combos multiple times. People would not play Fake Bomber anymore, that card is just too good. Especially in the double Frog Raider combo when you see the Frog Raider in the front row. This card is amazing. If you didn't understand the Frog Raider being in the front row, I could show you that later, but I think that some of you guys already know it from the Living Proof. I think Discord, he mentioned that, but I also came up with that as well. Not the first one who came up with that though. I think maybe Cyril from France was actually the first who thought about that. Then 3 stride folders, because you don't really want to play the Jelly Beans, never, to ride him. And in this deck you also just want to get Nova and you don't want to get Star. But in some situations when you play against decks that take too long, you want to go to Star and you want to just keep up the hand advantage. And that's also the reason why you don't see a Cheetah in here, is because you play on Nova and not on Star. The perfect guard, some people play him at 2 or even at 3. It's just Cutting Brain is just too good of a card to play at 3, because it's a perfect guard, but at the same time just the power that you could give to the Frog Raider would make a huge difference. And of course the Mega Trainer, I play him at 1. I think in this deck there is no reason to play him more than 1. Also in this deck I do not want to turbo to the GB8 as the first stride, because I only play 5 G Guardians. And in normal situation I would play 7 just to be able to turbo as a first stride. And the reason that I want to play 5 G Guardians is that I really wanted to put Miracle Ace back in this deck, and I will show you later why.
You hear that, folks? Miracle Ace is making a return.
Yep. As long as you play Rising Nova, you should play Miracle Ace. So for these strides, zoom in a little bit. So 2 copies of Agrius. I would say the best first stride, but could also be a finisher. The thing about this card is, I think that most of you guys already know what he does. If you don't really know what the card does, then tell me and I could explain it to you. But otherwise this deck profile would take too long, or character intro. The Agrius, the good thing about him is you create more attacks, but at the same time you charge your units. So the same as a Supernova, but even better. It costs you a Counterblast, but it gives you an extra card. So in my opinion, a very, very, very good first stride. Then 2 copies of Miracle Ace, of course. Miracle is back, and this card is just too good. Especially with the amount of soul charging that you do with the Stand Trigger, Mega Instructor, and with Laser Blackguard, is that you are soul charging so much that Miracle Ace becomes better. But even without using his skill for the Soul Blast 2, which you could use him as a first stride, the 5k power that he gives to the Frog Raider, which would restand with every attack, is just too much. You could pump up your Frog Raider. Like yesterday I gave an extra 100k and 5, so 105k to the Frog Raider, and normally you can't do that in a non GBA turn, but with Miracle Ace and the Cutting Brain, having 2 Cutting Brain in the drop zone and 1 in your hand, and you could get him back and do the same combo, get him back and do the same combo, it's just too good. You will pump up your Frog Raider like 200k in no time, and it's just too good. And that's why when I saw the Cutting Brain, I just wanted to put the Miracle Ace back. But without playing Nova, Rising Nova, you can't play Miracle Ace. Just try it out, but you will never be able to play Miracle Ace. It doesn't work with Star, and definitely not with Jelly Beans. 2 Dirty Piccolos, I think just the card is way too good, creates a lot of advantage. Going into Mirandol as a first stride, then into Piccolo, and then into the GB8, but if you don't get a G Guardian, into Piccolo again. And some people would say, why do you play 2? Well, there is the only thing that I could take 1 out to put 1 more G Guardian in, that could work, But the only reason why you do so is when you go Sea Breeze as a first ride and then you turbo to the GB8. That would help 6G Guardians. But at the moment, I'm going with 2 Dirty Piccolos just because I want to create more combos. 1 Dust. By far the weakest ride in Spike Brothers. And I really mean it. It's a very good card, don't get me wrong, especially when you know that your opponent has G Guardians in his hand and he could interrupt your plays. Definitely go for him. The combo that you do with him with Start and Mega Instructor is perfect. The double Frog Raider combo is too good. Like everything you do with Piccolo you could do with Dust. But the only downside to Dust is you have to discard the same card name as your Vanguard. And knowing me, if I have 1 Nova, that would be perfect. But 2 Novas in your starting hand or 2 Nova when you want to strike to this guy, it doesn't work. Not for me. But if I get the second Nova and I have the chance to go to him, so definitely it's a very good stride. Just that your opponent cannot G-guard, that's good enough for me. 1 more GB8. Well, I could make just a whole video to talk about this card. It's one big mistake from Bushiroad, and I love it.
We can make a salt complication or
Yeah.
all our friends seeing that card.
It doesn't matter. When this card comes to the field, it doesn't matter how many cards you have in your hand, it doesn't matter how many damage you have, you will lose. And the most situations what we do is I tell my opponent, you may take your drop zone back to your hand, and if you want to, you may put all the heal triggers you have on the top of your deck, and you will still lose the fucking game.
It's true.
2 Mirandoles because of Dust, and in my turbo deck I don't play 2. The thing is, with Mirandole, you go into him as a first ride, you flip the Sea Breeze up or the Mirandole, and then you go into Dirty Piccolo, you flip the 3rd Cray Elemental, and you G-guard once or twice, and that's when you would get the Cheer, which could countercharge at least 4. And being countercharge 4 tier is just too good to just reset your whole combos, and you would go for a Dirty Piccolo turn who could attack for a very, very, very long time.
Yep.
And I couldn't get the maximum attack because there is just nobody who could survive that long, but the tier being able to reset your whole countercharges or counterblasts is just amazing. And that's when we play only 1 Sea Breeze. Of course, there is no reason to play more. For the G Guardians, 2 Lioness, being an up-flipper and being almost as good as the one from Tachikaze is just too good. Being able to guard for 46. Yeah, it's just good. Most situations a no pass or a 3 to pass. Even in the Balam situation, he would be a 4 to pass, which is just perfect. Only 1 Hekaton Gus. I have no space to run the second one, but I would love to if I would have the space. And then I play 1 Sea Breeze or 1 Desmiel and 1 Reggaeton. Being Cray Elementals, discard and draw some situations does help you out to get the right grade 3. And I would always play at least 1 Desmiel. But just being Cray Elementals. The cards that I would or I could run in here is of course the 2 more G Guardians, which would be Lioness and Hekaton. And that's when you would have to take 2 more cards to be able to turbo to the GB8 as a first try. And this deck I don't, but believe me, that deck is able to do that, especially by running the 3 Jelly Beans and 2 more Icarius. You could also run those, take out the Miracle Ace if you want to, but I just want to have the options. Let's go to the triggers first because you didn't see that yet. For the draw triggers, I run 1 Lioness. You could zoom out a little bit so I have more space. Alright, so 1 Linux, followed up by only 2 Dudley Schemer and then 3 copies of Pauline. So as you can see, 4 vanilla draws and only 2 Schemers. And the reason is that Schemer is very good, especially in the combo that you do with Dust, because you will be able to pump up one of your Frog Raider, the extra 3k, that would make the 21 column with your Star, because Star would not be charging, so that would make a big difference. If you give the extra 3k, there'll be an extra 5k guard for your opponent each attack, so that's why the Schemer is good. But I do also like to rush in the early game. And that's when the 5k would make a huge difference, because 5k behind the 9k would still hit the 14k column. Also, the 5k behind another trigger or behind your liar lips would still be able to hit the 9k, and this would hit the 8k, which does nothing. So in the most situations, in my playstyle, I like rushing with the draws more, but I think for most of you guys, try to put him at 4, just so you could bump up your throw grader if you want to. Only to Mega Instructor, I tried to play him at 4, and I tried it at 3 as well, but the card is too good, but being a stand trigger in my playstyle still doesn't work. Having the stand trigger in the early game is nice, don't get me wrong, but yeah. The thing is, I like to play more draws to be able to get the right pieces in my hand. Also, I like the multi-attack, and having him back into your deck is not a problem because you still play the Hecaton Gus. The only thing that you will not get the stand trigger during your drive check to restand your star during your Dust turn. But as I said, Dust is a very good card, but you can't, or you could make a deck who plays only around Dust, but I don't want to do that. Or I could make another deck that could work around Dust. 4 Liar Lips, just too beautiful of a card and just too good. Makes a lot of crazy combos with Hard 8. Give the extra 10k to your throw grade and make a 21 attack to your opponent's Vanguard or Vanguard. Just too good. The card is amazing. And then of course 4 heals, being a heal trigger, being this cute as of an art. And of course having the Dudley name is 3 mistakes that Bushiroad should not have done.
What did you do?
Talking about her being a Dudley is because why this card is in here. And funny thing, Jellybeans has a full art, and these 2 idiots doesn't. If you search these 3 cards out, then you could find in the at the Bushiroad side that you could find the full art of Jellybeans without text and everything, but you can't find full art of these 2 idiots. Yeah, so Jellybeans at 3 because you play less grade 2s, and you could search your Deadly Mason out to be able to write, but most situation just to search out your heal triggers and get him back to your hand and stride with him again is just too good. Also, being a grade 3, having him in your hand, you could always search your risings if you want to, because you play Mega in Trainer. 3 stars, no reason to play 4 because you don't run him as a main Vanguard, but this card is just too good. It does help you out against a lot of different matchups, especially Narukami and Kagero matchups that retire your stuff, but being able to have 2 units on the field, then call him back and then create a whole field, like 3 back, and that's when you attack, and you could have the booster fake bomber right here behind him, and you could still create the whole field. But in most situations, he's just too good with the Mega Instructor, which give you a lot of attacks. Riding him as a Vanguard is also not bad because of his GB2 skill. Then we have the card that hates me. By far one of my favorite cards in Cardfight Vanguard, but not my favorite. And he could be my favorite, but he is just an asshole. And the thing is, I really have to do multiple things to be able to get this card to my hand. It's just the skill of the being able to get a stride bonus is something that you really need while playing cards like Miracle Ace. Also, it's very refreshing to have him as your Vanguard and go to the GB8. But if this card was like the new Altmal or like the new grade 3s of each clan, like I think only him and Fenrir don't have that skill. It's when you stride on top of them. It's only when on place, Counterblast and Soul Charge and you could call something. This should have been on place and when you stride, like all the other grade 3s. But yeah, they just didn't want to give this to Spikes and to Genesis, I think. I don't know.
When clans are too good, they don't get the stuff they deserve.
Then we go to the grade 2s. Okay, 2 Tigers, as I said, I want to play more, but I just don't have the space. 1 Lethal Forward and 1 Axe Diver, the twin brothers, as I like to call them. They work great together. The Axe Diver could do a lot of big things, actually. And also you could loop him in your GBA turn to get multiple attacks for every counterblast that you have. Lethal forward in here just create a lot of advantage. And you don't play Cheetah or anything else to leave on the field because you don't play Star as your Vanguard. Otherwise, you would definitely take the Lethal Forward out to put a Cheetah in here. And of course, yeah, the Dudley Mason. Well, this card is a nightmare for a lot of people. Whenever he say a 1 to pass, it's always a 1 to pass. Whenever you boost him with your Mega Trainer, you attack for 2 to pass. Or just a 10k for 1 to pass, it always would be a 1 to pass. I mean, this card creates a lot of craziness. And the thing is, people would say, well, I would like to play the 10k. Well, I don't. Why? First thing, I want my opponent to give me damage so I could finish them off on the first stride. And the game would not take too long and I could go to the bathroom if I want. The second thing is, he could get you your Frog Raider or anything that you need, because you mostly use your Mega Trainer to get your heals, your PGs, and some situations get your tier, but he could help you out to put the draw triggers in your soul, counterblast, and just get whatever you want. And that's the reason why I also play a lot of draw triggers, as I said, because of my playstyle. And for the great ones, too good of a perfect guard and just an amazing card to be able to do so much power. Like calling him 3 times while having 3 of him in your drop zone is an extra 90k. Do you understand? 90k, not 19, 90. So it's just too good. And for some people to say, well, I like to play him at 3 because I don't need the perfect guard. Well, I don't need them either. But I just have him in here because he's just too good as a perfect. 2 acrobats or playing even 3 just because it's jelly beans and getting the right grade 3. Rogue Raiders, too good. Do you need to play him at 4? Well, I don't. You could. If you play Instructor at 4, you could play him at 4 as well. Don't take the Fake Bomber out of your deck and put at least 1 tier in there. And then we come to the second generation cards, which are the Laser, the Fake Bomber, the Instructor, and Star. Star and Instructor. So these are actually, as I like to call them, the second generation of cards in Spike Brothers, because they came along in the last set. I think set 12 or set 13, I can't remember. So the thing is with these, they create a loop. Without having counterblast, getting the counterblasts back, getting whatever you want from your deck, like him, to be able to set your whole combo. But these two actually create the loop, and these two reset the loop. And whenever you have a Laser in your hand or an Instructor, you could reset the whole loop with the Fake Bomber. If you don't have them in your hand, then you do the small loop with only 1 counterblast, getting the Mega Instructor back. And the thing is, the smart thing is about spikes is you could make them charge, you don't have to. And that's when you attack with him, you don't make him charge, you attack with this, boosted by the Frog Raider, and you bind and call this back. And you will be able to full your soul, and that's when you will be able to use Miracle Ace if you play Miracle. So these two, with Miracle, with Picaro, with Dust, just too good. And as I said, these two reset the whole combo. So I could do you the combo video, but actually it's just like call, having the Frog Raider right here, call the Instructor, attack, bind and call, by him going back, 2 cards in your soul, counterblast 1, get them back. If you want the counterblast back, don't get him. Get the Fake Bomber. The Fake Bomber will attack, boost, Soul Blast to counter charge, put a card from your hand to the field, restand the fucking Frog Raider.
That's how it goes.
And if you really want, let's say you have a lot of crits left in your deck, then you would say, well, okay, Frog Raider, it's time for you to attack. You're done boosting, and that's when the Frog Raider will go to the front row. And some people would say, well, Frog Raider to the front row, could that work? Yeah, well, why not? You could do the whole combo, but you'll get Mega Instructor behind the Frog Raider, and the Frog Raider will attack. And whenever you bind this, or goes back to your deck, you bind and call the Star, you will be able to get the Fake Bomber or the instructor right behind the frog raider, and the frog raider will still restand. You could still attack, and it does work, especially by getting crits putting on the frog raider, or whenever you want to get the fake bomber. How did I came up with the combo? I actually was like, I want to counter charge and I want to call from my hand, but I cannot call the fake bomber as in he attack. I want to call him as in he boost. But at the same time, I play against Nubatama or Kagero, and I want to have the double frog raider combo. So there is just no place for the fake bomber to come to the field to be able to use his boosting skill. And that's what I said, well, the frog raider, you're up in the front row, and the fake bomber will be in the back row. And that's when the combo works, with fake bomber or mega instructor as the back row, and frog raider being the front row, bitch. And this is the frog raider that gets the extra 3k, so this could make the 21 column, because otherwise it would be 18. When you charge him, this would be 21, but most situations you don't charge him, so you could get the mega instructor. So that's actually it. There is really a lot to talk about when it comes to Spike, and I could say I can't put all my thoughts into one video, but it's really nice to be able to do the character intro for you guys.
Let's put him back on the screen.
Yeah, so as I said, I played Spike from the start, and the thing is, I wanted to top huge tournaments with Spike because people were talking bullshit about Spike, like it's not strong and the only build that could top is the GB8 build. And believe me, when I got the top 3 in the regionals, I didn't even play the GB8 because it was not out yet. So, and the thing with Spike is it could, as I said, could finish off on any strike if you play the right deck and play multiple cards. Don't play one combo in your deck. If you make a dust deck, I could understand that, but if you play the GB8, I understand that as well. But make that build where you have multiple cards in your deck that could work, and you could go into different combos.
Right, that was very inspiring. Now, we'll have a little bit more talking time questions. For example, what do you feel now that the reboot has been announced? What do you really hope you're going to see for Spike? Because Spike, of course, is going to get support already in July, which is, aside from the Q1 box, is going to be the first set. So, what do you want to see, except Adelaide?
Well, I don't want to see Adelaide. I don't like that card at all. And the thing is, I actually don't give a fuck. I like every Spike for the card that there is out there, and the 2 cards that I will definitely see back, and I'm sure of it, is the Juggernaut and the Skydiver, at least the Skydiver. The card that I really hope to see, but I don't think that will get a reboot, is Dudley Mason, being my favorite card, and some would say the Avatar if we have one. But I do have one thing to tell you guys, and that is, don't sell all your G decks and don't value the G decks less. The thing is, the G era will come back again. You understand that this is a reboot, so after all, they would have to go to Gear Chronicle again, and when they go to Gear Chronicle, we will have to Strides. Or after that, next year, we will get Strides. And that's when people will search the Strides again, and people will... Bushrod will not make the Strides way better than the stride we have right now, and the reason is they wanted to make the mechanic better than the Strides. And that's when you have a heal trigger. The heal trigger has 20k shield, so guarding normally with a heal trigger or with a G Guardian is almost the same value, and your Vanguard's already at 13, so playing the standard deck would be as good as playing the G deck. But after all, we will also get Strides in this standard deck. So I think that just play the deck that you like, and don't be, oh, it's an end of an era. It's not an end of an era. The G era will just continue in the new meta, because everybody will be still playing G Guardians and Strides and stuff. I don't really see a reason why we should not play G Guardians. Okay, your heal trigger could guard for 20k, sure, but still, I would still could deny a Griffin your rare guard. I could still hate round your rare guard. I could still do a lot of things. G perfect guard. I could still G perfect guard.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't think that you should just buy a deck that only standard and play standard, because that would not be the format. The format will be the mixed format, as you play the GR decks with the new decks and just mix everything up and enjoy it. For me with Spike, I will enjoy every little draw trigger that they would get. And believe me, every card has its own combo and every card is good actually.
Anything else to add?
Well, yeah, as I said before, I would like to thank Bushroad for creating this game, and I would definitely like to thank the players. Like, there are a lot of people that do a lot for this game, like the judges, even the traders, people that trade a lot and help us create the community, but also the players. Like some of the players, like they're sitting in some country, having their cards right there and enjoying the game. Those players make a big difference, and just be those players. Just sit there, enjoy the game. You could be salty, it's alright, but don't hate things. Don't hate your Chronicle, don't hate anything, don't say cancer to something. I mean, I don't even like the word, and you should definitely not use that if you go to the Netherlands, because people doesn't like it. But yeah, just enjoy the game. And enjoy a clan, like find your own clan and enjoy it, even if the clan is not strong. As in Spike Brothers, when I started playing it, it was definitely not strong, but you could make it strong. Just make your own combos.
Oh, inspiring words. Well, people, tell us how you feel about D.B0Y and his deck in the comments below. Tell us what you more would like to see. We have a whole bunch of players with different decks and different builds. Leave us the feedback, and well, we'll see you all next time. This was Crushing the Meta. Goodbye.
Crushing the meta.